welcome back to my channel. It's Christina at Homeschool and Grace. And today's video is our schedule. I hear squealing from downstairs. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me, how do you do it all? How do you fit it all in? How do you get it all done? And with lots of planning, have I been able to get it all done? So I'm going to go through my schedule and our daily schedule, and I'll show you what I use, what it looks like. They're so loud. It's distracting me. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you, and I'll have it like bigger in the screen, but I have just like my paper copy I print out. So I use on Google Sheets, they have a daily schedule that you can print out, and so I just put in all our times, and then yeah, so for the whole week. So I print this every week and I update it every Sunday. So today is Sunday, so I'm going to update it today with what the plan is for the week. So starting up at the top, you see at 8 a.m. is my Bible time. And my kids are so loud. So every day, well, almost every day. So Monday through Friday, my mom and I, my parents and my husband and I, our family, we live on the same property, but we have our own houses. And so my mom and I get together and drink coffee and talk about what we read in the Bible that day. We're doing a reading. Well, we're actually doing the journey every day from My Father's World, actually. So that's what we do. We read whatever portion alone, and then we talk about it at 8 a.m. till 8:30. And so that's kind of our time to do that. So my kids start to kind of roll downstairs around 8. And they can either hang out and sit with us, or I let them go watch a cartoon. I know. But it's really not that big of a deal to me. So they get to go, either they can lay in my bed and watch a cartoon, or they can sit with us. So that's just for a half hour. At 8:30, they've got to all be up, and breakfast begins. And I'm not like, I don't have a big breakfast scheduled. It's really just find what you want to eat and eat it. And I'll make you an egg. Like, that's about as creative as I get. So I'll cook up eggs if that's what they want. If not, then they're kind of on their own. So, and that works for us. So then by 9 a.m., my two oldest, my 6th grader and my 3rd grader, head upstairs and they start on math. So Monday, as you can see, I schedule out, I put which lessons they're on each for the whole week and what they have to get completed. So we use Matthew C. And so if they're doing really well on the lessons, after doing one review, they have to at least do 2 actual like unit lessons and then 1 review. And if they do well on that, on Thursday they can take the test instead of Friday, and then Friday can be a total free math day. They don't have to do it at all. If they're still struggling and they take the test Thursday, then and they don't do well on the test, if they bomb the test or they get so many wrong. If they get so many wrong, then they have to, on Friday, do a makeup math page, which is then a review page, which then takes the place of the test. So back to Monday. For Monday, they watch the Matthew C. DVD, and I watch it with them, and then I'm always up here during the lesson time to make sure like they don't need any help. And little ones are coming in and out, and it's not that big of a deal, or they'll hang out in here, or they'll hang out downstairs and play, and it's not really a big deal. Unless during the DVD, since they really have to pay attention because it's a new lesson, that's when I try and keep it quiet. So that's kind of our math day. That's the hardest, is the DVD day, because they both need to be able to really focus, and if there's a lot of distractions, it can be distracting. Okay, next at 9:30 a.m., and that is language lessons for today through Matthew C. Not Matthew C. My Father's World. So that is these lessons. So in the teacher's manual, it's scheduled 3 days a week, so they do it 3 days a week, and that's the time that I do it with them individually. So typically when I'm working with one, the other's either finishing up math or they're working on handwriting. We're also going to start adding in, which I haven't yet, because sometimes these lessons go really quick. I'm going to add in spelling at that time, if the time still allows for it. And I'm going to do spelling really simple. I'm only going to do 5 words a week, so it doesn't take that long. And I think I'm going to modify how I do spelling power a little. So if they get 100 on the test, that's going to be it for the week. Like, we'll only practice, you know, for however many days. So it might only be like 3 days of testing or 2 days, and that's fine with me. So if you see at the end of the week, so Thursday, Friday, it says writing skills, and that is the writing skills that my oldest works through. And I put in her lesson numbers, and we do that Thursday, Friday morning. My 3rd grader then gets a break Thursday, Friday from any kind of language arts, unless she didn't finish something that was scheduled. So a lot of times, like if she didn't finish some of her writing, if it's a lot of copy work that week, she's got to go back and finish her copy work, while my oldest works on her writing skills. Okay, so then moving down to 10 a.m., and I'll be honest, we stick pretty close to this schedule. So there's not, sometimes we'll wake up a little bit later, I'm finding, but I still typically start with Hannah around 10:30 at the latest. The only problem when I do that is that it pushes Abby's school time gets changed to a different time of the day. So, school with Hannah. It's been taking us about an hour. I found that that's about as much time as she can stay focused. She is doing 1st grade. So that's here, learning God's story. And it's pretty intensive for her because learning to read has always been hard for my kids. I've never had a kid that's like, oh, that's so easy, I've got it. So it's kind of intense for her, but she's doing really well with it. But it's hard work. So school with Hannah is at 10 to 11, and we try and get as much done as we can through the teacher's manual, except there is a reading review and typically a student sheet. And I'm finding that in that first hour, we don't always get that done. And so I've been taking the reading review and the student sheet we do in the afternoon. And I'll explain that once we get further down the schedule. Okay, so at 11 a.m. is when I do school with Abby. She only does school 4 days a week. And so we do it Monday through Thursday. So that time on Friday then becomes a makeup time or catch-up time. Or if we didn't finish all our history with my older 2, that's when we do that. Or if I've got to do stuff with Hannah, that's kind of when I do that. So, like I was saying, if we get a little off in our morning, I can't get school done with Abby then before lunch. So I'll typically then move it down to either in the evening, after dinner, or around 2 or 3 after I've finished with everyone else and everyone's kind of had a rest time and she's able to come back up. So she's a little squirrely then because she's 4, but we still get it done. I hope I'm explaining this well enough to where you can understand. And thankfully, this will be on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so at 11:30 is lunch and read aloud. Read aloud is actually not happening like I had hoped. I was hoping to start our picture book read alouds again then, but I'm finding that I'm still kind of wrapping up school with kids, and so with either Hannah or Abby or Naomi, and so I'm not getting it done like I had hoped. So lunch has become like breakfast, and it's kind of I've gotten a lot of frozen foods, and they get to pick something and make it, or a bowl of cereal, or a sandwich. And they're kind of making their own lunches. It's not ideal, and I'm hoping I can tweak our schedule some so we do more lunches together again, but right now it's not really happening. Okay, so you'll see on Mondays after the lunchtime at noon, my oldest goes to her teen program, which is like a tutoring program. And so that is when she does that. It also says WHB, and if you're like, what is that? That is my weekly home blessing hour. I do Fly Lady, and I can click, or I'll share the link below of the gal I follow who was a former Fly Lady, but does the Fly Lady system. And Mondays are our weekly home blessing. So I clean my whole house. So I take an hour then to get all that done. So Mondays are really intense because my daughter's going off to her thing. I got to get her there. And then I'm cleaning my house. So the girls get a rest time or nap time for about an hour. My oldest has to practice ukulele, and I put that there at 12:30, and that actually goes through the whole week. She's got to practice that because she has ukulele lessons on Wednesdays. If one of you wants to, I can link this schedule. Granted, this is like so geared towards us, but if it's helpful to you in any way, sometimes I like to use other people's schedules and rework it for my own. I can link it. I can link it. Okay, moving on. So as you can see, in the middle of the week, from 1 to 2, is our family cycle. So that would be, we're doing exploration to 1850s from my father's world. And so that would be with my two older, B and MG. These are all like their nicknames. So that's when I do that with them. And that's history, science, Bible, art, music. So that's what we do all together then with the two of them. So I have scheduled on here at 2 is when I do school with Naomi, but I found that she doesn't really do as well. She wants to get school done in the morning like all the other girls. And so I'll do 2 days a week. It's actually changed, or it is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So at around 11:30, like I said at lunch, that's typically when I'm doing school with Naomi. And that's working for us much better. Okay, so at 2 o'clock, I typically make them turn off screens if they're on screens, or after we've done the family cycle stuff, then we go outside if it's nice, or everyone can go like read a book or something like that. Typically, my 3rd grader wants to get all that stuff done early, even like reading her book and reading time, so she'll ask to do it during rest time, and she'll come down and either read to me or go read to my mom at my mom's house. At 2:30, you can see I do Hannah Patch. So typically my goal is, actually at 2:30 we do her school, the rest of it, so her reading review and that student sheet that didn't get done earlier, or any kind of game or practice for blending, because that's kind of really what we're working on right now. So after that, then she patches. So she's got to wear an eye patch 3 hours a day because she was born with cataract. So that is when we do our patching and finish up that stuff. Okay, so then typically after that, it's really outside time. Go outside. Go. So they go play, and that's when I try and get laundry done. The rest of it, get it folded, put away if I can, do a quick cleanup of the house, get the dishes in the dishwasher. I'm trying to think what else I try and do. I think that's it. Like if I didn't get any of my morning stuff done, I try and do that then. And if you're wondering, like, what time do you actually get up? I'm typically up by 6:30. That's my goal. And I get totally dressed and ready to go. I unload my dishwasher. I do the swish and swipe, the Fly Lady thing. So I clean my bathroom some, just like wipe the counters down and swish in the toilets. And I get a load of laundry started. So that's what I do in the morning. Okay, at 4 o'clock, all school is done. And I start prepping for dinner. And I give myself an hour to get dinner going. Okay, dinner is at 5 o'clock, typically, or whenever my husband gets home. We hope for 5, but it doesn't always happen that way. And then we have typically something almost every night of the week, except like 2. So we do have a home group, we have church, we've got, my husband helps with the youth group, and then any special events that we have going. Okay, so back to the schedule. So on Fridays, you can see there's a space for homeschool co-op. We are part of a co-op. I thought we would drop the co-op this year, but we actually, because we're sticking so well to our schedule, it's a good motivator at the end of the week to get all your stuff done, and then we can go. Which I never took advantage of that before because I wasn't very scheduled. I would have a schedule, but a running schedule in my brain, but I didn't ever share it with the girls consistently, and so they didn't realize, like, oh, if we get our stuff done, we can go to this thing or something like that or whatever. Also, my Mary Grace, so my third grader and my first grader are going to start being tutored one day a week. Twice a month from a friend. She's going to come to our house, and so that will be really good for them. So that'll be on Fridays as well before co-op. So they'll really have to get stuff done before the tutor comes, which should be fine because we typically get everything done. So by Friday, there's like very little. It's like read one portion from our history book or something. So we do pretty well. Okay, so that was our schedule. I hope that was helpful for you. If it seems really weird, I apologize. But it's totally working for us. I understand, like, I have gone years and years and years without a consistent schedule. Like, I've shared in the past schedules that have worked for us, and, like, they'll work. But last year was so horrible. It was a bad school year because I just could not get my act together. I think I've shared that now every single video at the beginning of this year. And so to just have a schedule and stick to it has been a big blessing in our homeschool because I just feel like we're actually getting stuff done in a timely manner, and it's not like this battle. Like, everyone just knows what has to be done. And it is a long week. And like you can see, I'm homeschooling from 9 to noon. So 10, 11, 12. So 3 hours in the morning and about 2 hours in the afternoon. So I'm totally homeschooling 5 hours a day. Like, if you include all the readings and stuff like that, all the read alouds they've got to read to me, or music practice, and all this stuff. So that is how we're getting it done. And again, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you like this video, here are some others to go and check out. And I hope to see you at the next video. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.